This is Mac OS Ken.
Talk of Apple Intelligence in China. Indonesia may start selling iPhone 16 someday, maybe. And a message for the people who messaged me. It is Thursday, the 13th of February, 2025. Henry Rollins' birthday. Ought to be a holiday. He kisses his fear on the mouth, you know. Where were we? Oh, right. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. I wrote to Henry Rollins one time asking him for an interview. He said no, but he was very nice about it. Happy birthday, Henry. Big, if true, information from The Information a couple of days back. TechCrunch did a highlight of the story, which had Apple partnering with Alibaba to launch Apple Intelligence in China. This after a potential partnership with DeepSeek got nixed. Before that, Apple was said to have been working with Baidu, but TechCrunch says issues adapting the Chinese search giant's models were apparently too great to overcome. This news hits just ahead of the anticipated arrival of the anticipated fourth-generation iPhone SE, expected to support Apple Intelligence. TechCrunch says the budget-focused handset has historically been a key driver for iPhone sales in both China and India, the world's first and second largest smartphone markets, respectively. Speaking of Apple Intelligence, if you took the trouble to disable it after the release of iOS 18.3, you may have to take that trouble again. A piece from Mac Rumors says some users are reporting that Apple's latest software updates, the iOS, iPadOS, and macOS updates that hit earlier this week, are quietly re-enabling Apple Intelligence features even after they had explicitly disabled them in the previous update. In fact, Mac Rumors itself noted the behavior on an M4 Pro Mac Mini, an iPhone 16 Pro, an iPhone 15 Pro, and an M4 iPad Pro under the site's control. One giveaway seems to be the welcome screen. Like, if you got one of those announcing Apple Intelligence features after this week's ... updates, Mac Rumor says Apple Intelligence is likely active again. If you want to be sure it's off, iPhone and iPad users can go to Settings, then Apple Intelligence and Siri to make certain. Mac users can do the same in System Settings, then Apple Intelligence and Siri. Remember the whole mishegas between Apple and Indonesia over whether that country would ever allow iPhone 16 to be sold there? So much back and forth, where Apple was a few $1,000s short on required investments, then it offered a few $1,000s less than what was promised, then it offered tens of thousands of dollars more than what was promised, an offer Indonesia declined. Then the Indonesian government said it expected Apple to offer an investment of $1 billion, which would likely start sales of iPhone 16. Then Apple reportedly did offer $1 billion, an offer Indonesia also declined, because while $1 billion is nice, they wanted the money to go toward the manufacture of iPhone components. What Apple had offered would go to the manufacture of AirPods. 3 weeks ago, a piece from 9 to 5 Mac said the Indonesian government had said that it expected its iPhone 16 ban to be lifted within 1 or 2 weeks, but had not explained the basis for this. Now, 3 weeks later, the story moves another 2 inches. The site Guru Focus cites a piece from Seeking Alpha that had the Japanese publication Nikkei Asia indicating that Apple is exploring moving some iPhone production to Indonesia. According to the piece, on the piece, at least one Apple supplier has already set up a subsidiary in Batam, signaling early preparations. This freaking story. If you're looking for a new Mac and don't mind gently used. There's not new hotness in Apple's Refurbished store. Mac Rumors says M4 MacBook Pro and Mac Mini models have landed among the refurbs in Canada, Ireland, the UK, and the US. They also seem to be turning up in some EU countries, Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, and Spain among them. What's cool about these machines, Mac Rumors says, and I agree, Apple's refurbished Macs are practically indistinguishable from machines that are actually new. That said, would-be buyers can often get machines that are actually new through other channels for less than you'd pay for refurbished from Apple. But if you like buying direct from the mothership, refurbished M4s have made the scene. Apple has quietly made life easier for some people with multiple Apple accounts. Another piece from Mac Rumors says the company has posted a support doc letting folks know how they can move digital purchases from more than one account into one account. According to that support doc, you can choose to migrate apps, music, and other content you've purchased from Apple on a secondary Apple account to a primary Apple account. You'll need to know the primary email address or phone number and password for both accounts, and neither account should be shared with anyone else. The steps are kind of boring, but also confusing. Then again, I've only got the one account. If the burden of two accounts has vexed you lo these many years, more info is available on Apple's site. Remember Gurman saying over the weekend that both the anticipated iPhone SE update and the new Powerbeats Pro 2 were likely to hit as early as Tuesday? He was right about the second one. A piece from TechCrunch earlier this week had Apple subsidiary Beats making with the new in-ear headphones 6 years after the original pair. The report says the new model maintains the familiar ear hook for workouts while delivering upgraded sound, better battery life, and a wireless charging case. Oh, and it can keep an eye on your heartbeat. Or an ear, I guess. TechCrunch says the built-in heart rate monitoring starts during workouts, offering real-time data via LED optical sensors. Other improvements are said to include spatial audio with head tracking, the same noise cancelling found in AirPods Pro 2, adaptive EQ technology, adjusting audio quality to the wearer's ear, 10 hours of battery life, up from the former pair's 9, 45 hours of battery life for the case, up from the last case's 24 hours. The stoppers are 20% lighter than the last pair, and the case is smaller as well. Powerbeats Pro 2 will run buyers $250. They've been available to order since Tuesday and should be on store shelves today. From a new wearable on the scene to problems with another that's been here for a bit, 9to5 Mac says a growing number of reports show people having problems with the speaker on Apple Watch Series 10. According to the piece, folks are having problem hearing the thing, even set at max volume. That's said to be across all watch functions, including playing music or podcasts, making phone calls, and so on. In some cases, says the report, the issue seems to have come on gradually. Their Series 10 speaker started off fine, but degraded over time. Others, however, seem to have had issues right from the start. The problem is turning up in various Reddit posts as well as in Apple's support community. The Cupertino company has yet to acknowledge the issue, according to the piece. Apple has resumed advertising on Twitter because, of course it has. A piece from Mac Rumors says the company had stopped advertising on the social media platform in November of 2023 following controversial remarks made by owner Elon Musk. That doesn't sound like him, does it? While the company was not spending money on Twitter, it was still sort of legitimizing the platform. Company execs like VP of Marketing Greg Joswick and Apple CEO Tim Cook have maintained a presence on Twitter the whole time. Notably, Apple jolly good fellow Phil Schiller ditched a while ago, moving to other platforms like Mastodon and Blue Sky. Apple's acquisition of Pixelmator is complete. The deal was announced last November. This week, a piece from iDownload blog said Pixelmator itself announced the deal's completion. This they did through splash screens in the Pixelmator Pro, Photomator, and Pixelmator for iOS apps, all three of which were updated on Tuesday. What changes will Apple bring? Whatever they are, they shouldn't come anytime soon. Aside from the splash screen, both Apple and Pixelmator have assured users that the apps will go on with no material changes. And finally today, the moment somebody was probably waiting for. Apple issued a press release Wednesday announcing an Apple TV app for Android. According to the release, the Apple TV app is now available to download from Google Play on Android mobile devices, including phones, tablets, and foldables, offering Android users access to hit award-winning Apple original series and films on Apple TV Plus, along with MLS Season Pass, the home of Major League Soccer. Oh, is that what MLS stands for? Every year I think I might subscribe to MLS Season Pass, and every year I don't. It's kind of cool to know that I could also not subscribe to it on Android. So before we go, you people wowed me yesterday. I didn't say what I said at the end of yesterday's show to get feedback, good or bad, but I got it. Almost all of it good. In fact, I only got one negative message amidst so many pieces of positive feedback I honestly lost count. I was truly touched and truly humbled. Thank you. You people rock. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Leonard likes this post.